In a rich and beautiful kingdom lived King Virendra, a ruler known for his lavish lifestyle and growing empire. His palace shimmered with gold, his banquets overflowed with delicacies, and his days were spent in luxury. Among all his riches, the one thing he never valued was time. "Why worry about time?" he often laughed. "I am the king. The world waits for me." He postponed important matters of state, ignored the needs of his people, and put off anything that required effort or self-improvement. Instead, he filled his hours with games, feasts, and distractions. One day, an old sage arrived at the palace. His eyes were deep and calm, and his voice carried quiet strength. He bowed before the king and said, "Your Majesty, I bring you a gift." The king smirked. "What gift can a man like you offer a king who has everything?" Without a word, the sage pulled out a beautiful hourglass, its frame carved from crystal and filled with shimmering silver sand. "This," he said, "is the hourglass of truth. It does not show minutes or hours, but the true time you have left. Not a second more, not a second less." The hall grew quiet. The king raised an eyebrow. "Is this a trick?" "No," replied the sage. "Place it by your throne. Watch it closely. It will teach you a lesson no treasure can." Curious, King Virendra placed the hourglass on a stand beside his throne, letting the sand fall. For several days he paid no attention to it, but soon he noticed that the silver sand seemed to be less each time he looked. The grains fell slowly but steadily, never stopping, never reversing. A quiet unease crept into his heart. He began rising earlier. His first glance each morning was at the hourglass. For the first time in his life, he asked himself, "What have I truly done with my time?" A change began. He started listening more closely during court sessions. He visited the sick, talked with his children, and spent time learning instead of lounging. Slowly, the kingdom saw a gentler, more thoughtful king emerge. Yet the sand continued to fall. One evening, King Virendra summoned the sage again. "I have ruled for years, but I feel I've only just begun to live," the king confessed. "Can I turn the hourglass over? Can I buy more time?" The sage smiled kindly. "Time cannot be bought, paused, or reversed. But how you use what remains, that is still in your hands." The king bowed his head in understanding. From that moment, he dedicated himself to service and wisdom. He mentored young leaders, resolved the people's problems personally, and built schools and gardens throughout the kingdom. "Let my lost time become someone else's gain," he would say. Years passed. One day a traveler asked the king, "What changed you so deeply?" King Virendra looked at the nearly empty hourglass and replied, "I once believed time waited for me. Now I live as if every grain is a gift, and I won't waste another one." When the final grain of silver sand fell, the king passed away, not with regret, but with peace in his heart. He had not just ruled a kingdom, he had learned to treasure time,